Welcome inside the TCO studios as we conclude the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. My name is Gabe Henderson alongside Ron Johnson. And Ron, what a night. The Vikings came in tonight with the 12th overall pick, but eventually ended up trading 20 spots back to the 32nd overall pick, the last pick of the first round, in which the details are right here. So the Vikings traded with the Detroit Lions. They traded their 12th overall pick and the 46th overall pick and received the 32nd overall pick, a second round pick, which is the 34th and the second pick in the second round, and then the third round pick, which is 66th overall pick. That's a lot of picks, a lot of trades, but more importantly, the Vikings got the person they wanted, safety out of the University of Georgia. His name is Lewis Cine. Talk to us.
Well, one, I like the trade. I do. I've all week I've been doing mock drafts, and every single one I had them trading back. Now I had them trading back with like the Steelers at 20 or the Cowboys at 24. 32. If they wanted Lewis Cine, he was the 31st ranked player in this draft. So technically or personally, I feel like he still could have been there at 34. You still have some corners out there like Andrew Booth, but I like it because if they still get Booth anyway, I've always said it doesn't matter when you pick a person if you get the person you want. And they went out and got the guy they want. And when you think about their defense and the pieces and the future, he is a future safety of this team at 6'2", 200 pounds.
Yeah, you just saw some of his metrics, 6'2", 200 pounds, ran a 4.3 at the combine and jumped an 11-inch broad jump. So the guy can make plays. He also is a guy that can hit, like you just see in this picture right here. But how does he fit on this Minnesota Vikings team, understanding that Harry the Hitman is still here and they Cam Bynum, who was coming off a good year last year, is still on this roster also?
Well, think about the Honey Badger times 2. Like the Honey Badger is smaller. Lewis Cine is bigger but can do those same things. Can come down in the box, can run fast, can be deep and play the deep safety. That's where the Honey Badger not say fails, but can't do. Honey Badger rarely plays deep middle. A guy like Lewis Cine can play the deep middle at 6'2", has the range, has the speed, but as you see, and even he says it, he wants to impose his will on the other team. He wants to break your will. He wants to hit you so hard that you second guess coming back across that middle or running the ball again. And that's a kid that you have to be able, I mean, you see it here, coming up in space, making a tackle. Kwesi said it's all about stopping guys and getting back to that 1st and 10 or 2nd and long. He's going to do that.
Yeah, and speaking of doing that, he's going to have to guard a lot of tight ends this year, too. You got guys in Mike Gesicki. You have T.J. Hockenson from Detroit. There's going to be some big tight ends that you're going to have to put him against, and I feel like Lewis Cine can guard those bigger tight ends in the NFL once that opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, if you think about T.J. Hockenson, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, you got Dawson Knox, you got Mike Gesicki, as you said, and then T.J. Azuma. You are facing a bunch of tight ends. Last year, they didn't have as many. I mean, I went through the numbers last year, all 18 games. The only tight ends they really faced that gave them trouble were the Lions and the Bears. Tunyon didn't play in the first time he played the Packers, and then, of course, the last one didn't really matter. And so when you think about that, that's going to change. Tunyon, they're going to have to play him twice. They're going to have to play Hockenson again twice, and they're going to have to play Cole Kmet twice. So now you have a safety that you can bring in, treat him as a big nickel or whatever you want to call it. He can cover your tight end. He can play in the box. But again, Harrison Smith likes to cowboy it and move up. And Ed Donatel's defense in this 3-4, if you sub a guy out in your sub package, you're going to have one lineman, you're going to have Danielle Hunter, and you're going to have another guy moving around. That's a guy that can play linebacker if he had to with this size of 200 pounds. And so defenses now are all about how can I create problems for the offense? Well, he's a guy that can do it because he can play safety. He also can be a box linebacker who can cover a running back or a tight end.
You know who's going to be excited about the problems he's going to create opposing offenses? Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, Vikings general manager. He talked to VEN right after he made the pick on the University of Georgia safety, Lewis Cine.
Yeah, so we just made our pick. We're excited, as an organization just coming together. It's a surreal moment. We got a great player, a great character person. He brings so much dynamic ability to the field. He's got incredible range. He can play the back end. Great in space, great in run player. He checks all the boxes. Smart, tough. He loves ball. He studies. We're through the moon. And it was a little tenuous there. He was our target for a few picks, and you got to sweat that out. But ultimately, that's what we did. And we got another pick coming up pretty soon, and we're excited about making that.
Kwesi said he wants explosive players, and he got one. Lewis Cine, a guy that can make plays inside and out. We just talked about him a lot, but he's going to be a guy that, according to Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, he's going to be expected to come in here and make some plays immediately.
Yeah, with Cam Bynum, we know he can come in and still be your starting safety, I guess you say, in the mini camp and the training camp. But you can get this kid Lewis Cine in there. He is a potential long-term starter when you look at a lot of the draft grades. But explosion, that's the key. A kid that wants to hit people. Again, this is the NFL. We know you can't hit people in the head. You can't do some of the things. He's going to have to learn that because in college, you can get away with some stuff now that in the NFL they're watching and trying to stop. But being able to just want to tackle, and that's what you enjoy, which it sounds like he does, that's the key. Having a guy, and we know the Vikings, you look at games where missed tackles, and they're like, oh, they just tackled this guy or got this guy down, it's fourth down and they're punting. Well, now you have a kid that wants to come in and be a part of that. He also is a guy that can energize your defense, a new young voice that's willing to put a hat on a hat. And guys love that. Linebackers love it. Team's going to rally around him. He becomes your firecracker. He's your starter, your fire starter, and he seems like he's ready to go.
Yeah, if you go to Vikings.com right now, you'll see Lewis Cine's interview with the media, and he is just a guy that just comes in ready to play football. But a lot of other guys are going to be coming here ready to play football day 2 and day 3. The Vikings have 3 picks tomorrow: the 34th overall pick, the number 66 overall pick, and then number 77. So 1 second rounder, 2 third rounders. And that 34th overall pick is basically like picking in the first round. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick 33rd to start the day off tomorrow, and the Vikings get their pick. How do you see the Vikings going with that, I guess, first rounder +1 or +2?
I'd say Andrew Booth Jr. I mean, cornerback for me would be the one. Again, I like Kyer Elam. He went earlier than people assumed. I thought he'd be there in the late rounds, and he went early. So clearly that 6'2" frame was a better grade than other people gave him. But I think Andrew Booth Jr. is an easy add at 34. Now you get your corner that can be a plug-and-play kid. He can come in, and he's going to battle with Cam Dantzler in training camp. Whoever plays better gets that spot. But they can both learn from Patrick Peterson. And so I think that's an easy one because then at 66, you still can go get a guy like Josh Pakel out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he's a guy, well, you can move him around the defense in this 3-4 defense. And then you've solidified the defense. After that, 77, 156, and 184. Who knows from there, but we know offensive guard, inside guys are going to be looked at as well.
The Vikings can honestly package some of those picks. You got 3 6-rounders and a 7th rounder. Do you see Kwesi doing something of that nature and getting a guy maybe in the 4th round, since the Vikings technically don't have a 4th round pick, even though they have 2/3? Do you see them packaging up a deal and doing so?
So the thing is, if looking at last year's draft class, everybody's saying, they didn't get a lot of production out of that group. And so, yeah, I mean, 3 6-round picks, how much can they contribute to this team? Is there room for 3 6-round picks when you're looking at the salary cap? I would package them and try to go get a 4th round pick because it's all about quality over quantity. Does quantity actually get you what you want, or is it about the quality? You look at the pieces of this team that already put together, I would say go get quality guys, and in the 4th round, you can get a quality guy. We know guys like Chaz Surratt and some of these other guys last year have not shown what they can do, but I think there's a new regime, a new vision, new voice, same scouts, but maybe a different look at what they're trying to get. Now, you can get a solid special teams guy or maybe a year 2, 3 starter.
Yeah, well, it's going to be some future Vikings here, and I wish I could say tomorrow's going to be a new day, but it's already morning time. And we really appreciate Vikings fans for staying up late with us. We might be up a little late again tomorrow, but it would be well worth it because the Vikings have an early pick with the 34th overall pick and then 2 more picks in the 3rd round. So we'll see what happens after that, but we appreciate you guys staying tuned right here to Vikings.com. For Ron Johnson, my name is Gabe Henderson. Thank you again for tuning into another edition of the Vikings Draft.